Welcome once again to the Fun Show here at Big TV. This is the July 18th.
Very good.
July 18th edition of the Fun Show. Gee, you mean the 4th of July was only 2 weeks ago? Seemed like a long time ago.
Half of July just went by.
Yeah, boom, like that.
I'm still kind of in shock. It gets worse the older I get. What's it like for you?
Well, if I could remember, dearie, I'd tell you, but I can't. Why didn't you ask Michael? He's even older than I am.
I am.
How old are you, Mr. Sallin?
107.
Wow, you look very good for 107.
You look really good for 107.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Well, I get out of the refrigerator in the morning. That's how I stay.
Is that what it is?
I heard that that's a method.
Yeah, yeah.
You sleep upside down.
I'm hanging from my feet.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and that way you don't have to bother with air conditioning in the
My
house,
blood
right?
all goes down to my feet that hurt all the time.
That's perfect.
That's the reason.
Very nice.
Well, this is our host and producer and manager Michael Sallin, sitting behind the Kira keyboard.
Kira keyboard.
And
All I did was
I'm
buy
Arch
the
O'Reilly. And between us, the best of the group,
and
Kira
and
Miner,
the Sons of Cincinnati.
the Society of the Cincinnati.
Well, it's like the Sons, though, isn't it?
Well, actually, no, it's not like the Daughters of the American Revolution or the Sons of the American
I
Revolution.
To give you a shot.
You wanted to give a plug for the Massachusetts Society of the Cincinnati.
Yeah,
That's what it's called.
Pen.
She's got the pen.
I got the pen.
Yes.
And
As
it's
a matter
not
of
just
fact,
a pen, it's a stylus.
it's a stylus. It's a stylus
and a
pen. Anyway, on that subject, I am actually driving myself up Friday to Thomaston, Maine.
Thomaston, Maine.
Thomaston, Maine, which is out in the boondockies. Is about a 3.5-hour drive up there.
Boy, up north.
So I can
The forest.
So I can lay a wreath on the grave of General Henry Knox.
All right.
And
Your compatriot.
my
You dress up like
my alter ego.
Your alter ego.
My
there you
alter-
go.
You had that
alter ego.
outfit on, yeah.
Yes. Well,
Are you going to wear the outfit when you lay the wreath?
I don't think so, because I mean, after all, we're commemorating his death and where he is, and being dressed as him seems a little strange.
Your organization should be proud of you. You're driving 3.5 hours to the cemetery.
To lay a wreath.
That's really neat. I mean it. I'm not joking. I like that.
We got
But
to remember.
it's a ceremony, though. You're not just going to be by yourself.
No.
This is an event.
There'll be a lot of people.
Okay.
But in fact, we have just restored, I say we, the Thomaston Historical Society, with the help of the Society of the Cincinnati, has just restored the gravesite. When I was there last year, both the slate tombstones from the 18th century, both of those were broken down, lying on the ground. The old cast iron fence that was put there in 1855 was totally gone, disappeared.
Man.
And so we have restored the tombstones, and we have made a reproduction fence on the thing. We had a very talented blacksmith make it, and so it's a good year to do the thing. Now, politics. I want to congratulate you all for not watching the Republican convention at the moment, because obviously if you're watching me, you're desperate to find somewhere where Donald Trump is not on your TV. And I like to point out this old bête noir of America, Newt Gingrich,
Favorite American.
I really thought he was gone.
who Trump somewhat resurrected. I mean, I don't know what mossy soil he dug him out of, but
He stirred him up.
There was some worms in the soil.
he was trying to position himself to be vice president by suggesting that we should haul in every Muslim in America and test them, and if they believe in Sharia law, they should be instantly deported from the United States. This man shouldn't be allowed to vote, much less run for anything.
It's just going from bad to worse.
And my response is that we should round up every right-wing conservative Christian, and if they believe anything Donald Trump has ever said in his life, they should instantly be deported from the country.
He's
support
He's
that.
married again.
It's a religious test.
Think of his wife.
Well, she doesn't come from here. She could get deported with no problem. She could be sent home.
There you have it.
I mean, she's
Somebody needs to
Austrian or
threaten-
something. I
Yeah.
don't know what she is.
Oh, I can't remember what she's.
She's
think she's-
charming. I liked her.
She
yeah.
actually is.
Yeah.
She gives him a little redemption if you
Yeah.
actually read anything she is, any article or interview with her.
Now, why do you think that she married Donald Trump?
I'm
oh,
sure
you think
that
it's money? Yeah, it
But
might be right.
she had her own money though.
She did have some
She
money.
had her own money. There had to be something.
She didn't
more.
have as much as he claims to have.
Yeah, but
And
what
now,
does she need to do with that?
He may not have as much as he
Yeah.
claims
he
to
Well,
have.
used to say.
exactly.
Okay.
Here's an interesting thing. One of his great claims to fame in running for president
Yes.
was he wrote what he will tell you is the most popular, most successful, most famous, best, greatest business book ever written. And it turns out he didn't write it.
Right.
It was actually written by a guy named Tony Schwartz.
That's right.
Tony Schwartz has come out and said that he regrets ghostwriting his book. He regrets making him look better than he is. He regrets the fact that Donald Trump has a shorter attention span than his 3-year-old nephew. And he
All right.
actually said that if Donald Trump was elected, this is the guy who wrote the book that he's running on.
What does he
Says
say about?
he could
What does he say about?
end a civilization.
Yeah, but what does he say about Donald's hair?
Apparently, he knows nothing about Donald's hair.
Oh,
The hair didn't come up.
all right,
Yeah.
well, so
But he
civilization is safe because he's got all that hair now. Does that make any sense?
No,
No.
Okay.
not at all.
No. How would you like to be his running mate?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know about that.
I mean,
I
let's
wouldn't run. I wouldn't run down the street for a hamburger for him.
no. Let's see if you qualify to be his running mate. Do you believe that there's anything to global warming?
Global warming.
Global warming.
What's global
What-
warming?
what
Okay,
is
you
that?
qualify.
Oh,
Do you believe in evolution?
No.
Okay,
Is that
you
like
qualify.
Yeah,
That
okay.
electricity like that?
Is the Earth more than 6,000 years old?
No.
I'm
Okay.
Can't be. It's not
5,500 years
possible.
old.
And do you think that any public money should go to Planned Parenthood?
No.
Congratulations, you're the new running mate.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
new-
know that it was going to
Oh.
take such a small mind to fit that role.
A small mind is good.
Small
It's just-
mind and a complete lack of any ethics or principles.
So Mr. Pence is our.
Mr. Pence qualifies on all those regards.
Okay.
You got to cut the size of the government down. That's what all this is about. It calls for a small mind to have a smaller government.
Yeah, right.
All right. It's an interesting theory. I'm not sure I'm buying it, but all right.
Do you think Norman Rockwell would have had a nice picture of a painting he
Of
would have done
Donald
about
Trump?
Donald Trump?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, they would have been on the front cover of something.
No.
There isn't anybody in Sturbridge who could have posed for it.
No, you're right.
Ah.
Okay.
I mean, the only person who, other than Donald Trump, who could pose for a picture of Donald Trump was that guy who was behind Brexit.
You know that.
What do you mean?
The guy who was behind Brexit, looks
That's
like
a-
a Saturday Night Live Donald Trump imitator.
Okay.
He looks more like Donald Trump than any other
Yeah.
presumed
Imitator?
human being on the face of the
Okay.
earth.
Brexit, is that a cereal? It sounds like a.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Brexit.
Weetabix.
We,
Weetabix.
Weetabix. Brex. Okay.
That famous
All right.
English cereal.
Now, what
Okay.
about
Weetabix.
What about Councilor F. Lee Bailey? Do you know he filed for bankruptcy?
Why did I hear
Poetic
this?
justice.
Well, the government says he owes $5 million in back taxes, but that's been going on for years. And now he says he's broke and hasn't got a car.
Does he still live here?
Maine.
Maine?
Maine.
Okay.
He was a fighter pilot in
I hope
World War II.
I hope it's not in South Solon or Thomaston or
Why?
Rockford.
No, he was
Because
started
those are all
talking.
places that
We
I've
started
gone.
talking about serious. Mass lax hospitalization for mental patients. And we closed them all 50 years ago.
Yes, well, that unfortunately is true in every state. And I hate to say this, but that is one of the things that the liberals got wrong.
No,
That's
but if
quite
they
an.
weren't taking care of the people at the level
That's a big
that's actually
admission for
helping them,
Arch, you know.
that is
Yes.
actually.
Well, instead of correcting the institutions, they got rid of them. You know,
And
yes, they were disastrous, as Tennecut Follies showed. They were downright scary, bedlam, revisited.
But it was a place you could park the kid or the adult or whatever.
And you're saying it's worse that people are having to keep their mentally ill family at home and taken care of in their house?
Well, if they can't afford it, if they don't have the capacity to do it, if they have no training or
But
anything.
isn't that still better gamble?
Well, you got mass
than,
mental health.
You know where the people are?
Where?
They're not at home. They're under the bridge.
That's
Yes.
true. Mass
That is-
mental health.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is our homeless population soaring?
Okay.
The majority, not all, folks, not all.
Looking under the
Don't
bridges.
write to me, but a very large
Does that happen
percentage.
very often?
A very large percentage of our homeless population is either substance addicted
Or mentally ill.
mentally ill.
And that, there's nothing unique in that, and I don't think you need
And
to
speaking of
qualify
that,
it for the audience
there's
because
this-
they get
there's
it.
Suicidal veterans, Afraid Lifeline. Turns out that in 2014, according to new data from the Veterans Affairs Department, 7,403 veterans killed themselves. That is about 20 deaths a day. Now that's
That's absolutely tragic
terrible.
and heartbreaking.
Did they break that down by age at all? Are these all young, recent vets, or are some of these
I'm sure they have it broken down.
folks
but
like us?
They didn't get into that. They have a veterans crisis line, which I have a card in my wallet about. They gave
Yeah.
it to me because they said he doesn't look well. We should get him one of those things.
Aw.
And he sounds strange, you know, that kind of thing. All right. Well, they got a new.
We'll vouch for you,
All right,
Mike.
go
We'll
ahead.
vouch
All right,
for you.
thanks. That's-
Anyway, the thing is, it would be interesting to know whether that. I suspect that may be weighted towards younger veterans. I mean, I would assume that if you had survived 50 or 60 years
Exactly.
from your war,
You've settled into life, even if you're not thrilled about it.
but and again, a lot of that has to do with substance abuse.
Right.
I mean, it's just you know, this substance abuse crisis is just much bigger than anybody wants to admit. I mean,
Touches
look
us
how
all.
bad it is. The Republicans even voted for an opioid treatment bill the other day in Congress.
Right.
Because it's touching everyone's
Even
life.
the Republicans voted to give distressed citizens some help, and you know they don't want to help anybody.
But they don't
nobody
want
needs
They
help.
still don't want to talk about guns. Everybody's getting shot. Police officer, poor policemen.
The funny thing is that they're still totally scared to death of the NRA, and frankly, I don't think the NRA has that much. The NRA always says, you know, we'll
you don't-
defeat you at the polls if you do anything about our guns. I don't think they can produce the voters anymore.
I don't think so either.
You know,
But they don't have any courage to stand up to them.
No.
That's what. Okay.
Well, they have developed quite a hold,
It's
you
time.
know.
did I say last week that if the cops had guns, they wouldn't be getting shot?
I believe you did. You definitely mentioned it somewhere in there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the guy who decided to do the shooting in Baton Rouge the other day, he didn't see black or white. He only saw blue.
True.
You know, so so he's shooting his own people. Ladies and gentlemen, it is apparently, from the looks I'm getting from my
Yep.
cohorts, apparently time for today's edition of the BIG Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation for tonight. And we have reached mid-level into the archives, down in the vault. We haven't gone as deep as we could. I think that sunlight still penetrated here. And we have arrived at something inspired indirectly by one of our favorite movies, Mary Poppins, and it is entitled A Spoonful of Sugar.
Action.
Do you ever read to your grandchildren?
Why?
Kids like us to read to them.
And there's plenty in the papers.
Politics is dry stuff.
President-elect Obama picking cabinet members.
Yeah, he says one president now is enough.
Maybe that's overstated, says Barney Frank.
The Detroit Three asked Congress for more money.
Let them eat cake.
Not amusing.
Anyway, it's not a fairy tale.
Get them from their teachers.
Those tales are metaphors for lessons.
Yeah, like Red Riding Hood visiting her stockbroker.
He's not the wolf.
Wild animals don't wear vests.
Granny's off on a tropical cruise.
So it becomes a thriller.
Plenty of suspense.
Yeah. What's in Red Riding Hood's basket anyway?
A turkey salad sandwich or a gun.
Ooh, pretty violent.
They love it.
Those video games.
So Riding Hood wants to know where Granny is.
Granny never wears a fur coat to bed.
It doesn't smell right.
Yeah, that wolf hated bathing or taking showers.
Where's Granny? Asks Red Riding Hood.
She had to sign up for unemployment, barks Wolf.
That doesn't sound right. She's retired.
Well, they changed the rules, girlie.
That doesn't sound like my grandma.
Okay. She has a problem with her Medicare coverage.
I don't think your granny, says little Red Hood.
Just then, a big pig shouts a warning through the window.
Run for your life, it's the big bad wolf.
Riding Hood doesn't bat an eye.
Pulls out the gun and clocks the wicked wolf.
Wait a second. Does this have anything to do with congressional oversight committees?
Don't know, but the guys from Detroit better be careful.
Well,
And
I like that ending better.
Better than Goldilocks and the Three Bears?
I forget who ate all the porridge.
Probably someone at Goldman Sachs.
Don't worry about Goldilocks.
She flees New York and changes her name.
And now her Social Security card reads Rapunzel Schwartz.
They wouldn't search for her with that name.
If that, she forgot the wig.
Right, she's walking around with those long golden locks.
Locks.
Look,
You can't be too careful.
do you think the transition team would approve?
Well, I think Larry Summers would observe that it's a mite far-fetched.
He's a worldly guy.
What about the soon-to-be First Lady?
Well, she wouldn't have to explain it to her daughters.
It's just good-natured fun.
He might even make up better ones.
Sure, with morals.
Think they'll get this all in their new school?
Perhaps Cinderella.
No, the prince is a white-collar guy.
Well, Velvet Eye Hazard.
But Cindy couldn't or wouldn't have a gown for the ball.
That's all right. Her fairy godmother takes her to the D.C. thrift store.
And phones for a stretch limo.
But she loses her slipper running away.
But they forgot to turn the clock back.
Sure. But daylight saving.
So the prince catches up to her.
No, the mean sisters trip him.
Cindy likes the thrift store business, though.
Opens a chain of them with all that credit.
From Ben Bernanke's Fed.
The prince likes a bargain, too.
Gets a pair of boots and recognizes Cindy.
So her sisters take over her business.
It's non-union.
And everybody lives happily ever after.
Sorry, friends. Have you forgotten we're in a recession?
Still, we can repair bridges, fix highways, and renovate old schools.
But families are being evicted from their homes.
Yeah, that's reality
But
and not
there's
TV.
still hope.
You have to be creative.
Make changes.
Whatever works.
We're committed.
That's why President Obama has been seeking the best and the brightest.
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Ah, yeah, his mother sends him to sell their cow.
Times are tough.
He
He's
sells the cow for some magic beans.
a nice guy, but a little naive, slow-witted.
The scam artist figured he had a live one.
So Jack goes home and tells the truth.
And his angry mom tosses the beans out the window.
And overnight grows the huge beanstalk.
Brave Jack climbs up and avoids the sleepy giant.
He returns with a harp and a goose that lays golden eggs.
So, this is about our real estate bubble, huh?
It's possible.
There's always a moral in there somewhere.
Yeah, Rapunzel Schwartz opened a pizza stand next to the castle.
And made some money selling swatches of her hair.
And what about Jack?
With all those golden eggs, he became a philanthropist.
He was concerned for the middle class.
Wise guy.
So, he built museums.
Libraries were going out of style.
And the museums charged admission and had dining.
Jobs meant people could shop again.
Laissez-faire,
a free market.
Economy expanded.
as did my waistline.
So we have to work our way out of this mess.
It's going to take time.
Like getting our guys back from Iraq and Afghanistan.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Didn't Howie say that?
You'll have to ask Whitey
He's working on our national security system.
in jail.
This is no time for jokes.
As long as our president doesn't make them.
What? I thought you knew Cheney wrote all those lines.
Blackout.
Blackout.
All right, so
Very
that
nice
was it.
work, Mr. Salen, as usual.
Spoonful of sugar.
A spoonful of sugar. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Medicine, go down. So here's a piece of really good news.
Go ahead.
Apparently, Roger Ailes is out.
He's the
You
man.
knew that's how it was going to go.
He's the man.
No,
knew?
I didn't. I
Really?
thought there was no chance on earth.
You
I
thought that they were going to
Fox?
fight for. They were going to
Is
fight
that-
for him. You
Oh,
thought
yeah.
under the circumstances
I
that they were going to
that's
fight
Fox.
for
I'm
him.
sure. What do they care?
A sexual harassment claim that has women crawling out of the
it's
woodwork.
Rupert Murdoch.
What do you mean?
Rupert Murdoch doesn't care about women.
He cares about money.
Yes, but publicity matters.
Moolah.
It's
Oh.
causing him a problem, else he wouldn't have gotten.
But they gotta wait-
I
they
can't
gotta
imagine
wait.
why you would have thought
I
otherwise.
am surprised
Okay.
that it's causing him a problem.
I
It's
am not.
Fox.
I am not surprised
It's-
at all.
it's Fox.
No, it's
They're-
at high volume. It's
If
too
you-
high of a volume of.
If Ailes is
They're-
listening to this,
They're
he-
immune.
What'll he
No,
do if he
they're
finds
not,
out ahead
clearly.
of time?
What do you mean?
I think he probably knew before I did. I mean, who do you think I am?
The vice president, he thinks.
Karnak the Magnificent.
Hey, what's his name? Pence. A quarter or a shilling?
Yes, Pence.
Pence.
Yes.
Okay.
He's putting his 2 pence worth in.
Okay.
It was so funny when he finally had the press conference to announce him.
Right.
He
We
got
talking about Pence?
yeah, Trump. He put it off for a day.
Pence were hanging.
He was trying to get out of it apparently,
Okay.
but he put it off for a day apparently because of what happened in Nice, as if Donald Trump cares about what happens in
Yeah.
Nice. But
This whole
anyway,
thing's
he
awful.
finally has the press conference, and he says something like, you know, I've come here to introduce you to my great vice president. And then he went on for something like 18 minutes and never mentioned him again and didn't call him out. And finally he goes, oh, back to the vice president.
Oh, no, he didn't.
No, he
of course
did.
he did.
He did.
Of course he did.
He did.
Of course
He
did.
rambled on about this, that, and the other thing, and he totally forgot why he was there.
Now,
That's just-
you guys.
Oh,
Here's something.
but Pence thinks he's a great guy.
He may be dumber than W. He
Interesting.
really, literally may be dumber than W.
Well, I'll tell you about 2 guys that are smarter than W.
Okay.
Their names are Aquino. They're brothers, and they're oftentimes on the.
Are you talking
Antique
about
Road-
the former president
No,
of
no,
Philippines?
no.
They're on the Antique Roadshow?
Yeah, the Antique Roadshow. These
Okay.
guys are on it a lot.
Okay.
Anyways, turns out the Times is reporting this story that they were both bidding on all of these things that were put up for auction.
Yeah.
At Christie's and
Bidding against each other?
and the other place. What's the Sotheby's?
Yeah.
One was on the internet,
Yeah. And the other was there.
and the other one was on the phone.
Okay.
So I don't know if they knew.
Were
that
they bidding against each other?
That's the way it turned out. They ended up bidding against each other. The 2 brothers
Okay.
who do very well.
Oops.
There were hundreds of these things that they ended up buying, both of them, and paying exorbitant prices for everything, $800,000 worth.
Really?
Because they were
Yeah.
fighting with each other.
So they, but they didn't have the money to pay, so they said they'll pay in the future when they have more money coming
That's not
in.
allowed.
I was like, that's not how auctions
Well,
work.
It doesn't seem that way.
That's not allowed.
Well,
My mother and I ended up doing that one time at an auction in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania, they have an odd law in Pennsylvania. If you die without a will, they come in and they auction everything in your house. I mean, your teeth, your toothbrush, everything.
everything.
Your family's not allowed to take anything
Anything.
out. You don't want to die without a will in Pennsylvania. It's really
you
very sad
definitely
to
do
go
not.
to these things. I mean, literally, your postcard collection is auctioned
Okay.
off.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was something at an auction we went to, and my mother was interested in it, and it came to the block, so to speak. That's what they say, It came to the block unexpectedly, and we were not within sight of each other. And I was afraid my mother didn't know it was on the block. And so my mother's on one side of the crowd bidding on the thing, and I'm on the other side of the crowd bidding on the thing.
That's funny.
It didn't cost us $800,000. I think it cost us an extra $50 for us to be.
Oh, okay.
Finally, I recognized my mother's voice and sort of
What
slunk
did you-
away.
Okay.
May I ask what
Smart.
it was she bought?
I don't
or-
remember
You don't
anymore.
remember, okay.
How old are you?
All right.
How old
But-
am I?
No, were you at that time?
How old was I at that time? I was probably about
12.
17.
I was
Oh,
say 20,
oh.
so 12. I mean 17.
17,
Okay.
something like that, yeah.
But here's something, after all of this, they append in this story
Yes.
at the Times the fact that the two of them have made a big careers, and everybody finds them lovable and very efficient and expert in furniture, for example. They know lots.
These are the two brothers that
Yeah, and they have a
against each other.
store.
They
have
probably won't
business
do this
store.
again.
Wait a minute. And they've been on this road show. They've shown up for 20 years, the two of them.
Okay.
They never took a salary,
Okay.
which I think is really terrific.
That's cool.
And I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt. And they already started paying off this big debt that they owe. All right, well, that's the end of the story.
All right.
Okay.
You're championing
And,
for them.
and,
I like them.
and they share a name with the former president of the Philippines. So
Yes,
that's-
true.
Okay.
What
All
was
right.
it? Do you remember her name, first name anymore? No.
How do you not know
Rapunzel's.
that? Rapunzel Schwartz.
Rapunzel Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, you got it. All right. Now there's the weather. We haven't talked much about this weather. Hazy, hot, and humid.
Hazy, the three H's, right?
Yeah.
Hazy, hot, and humid.
It was very.
You found, what do you think about the weather that we've been having?
I'm
Well, the
okay
other
with
day,
it.
the other day when
I
it was
like it.
97, I stayed inside.
I
Yeah.
stayed
I
inside.
was-
Cave effect.
I had AC that day, but if I'm home and it gets that hot, there's no AC. So,
Oh, you don't have air
No.
conditioning?
yes.
Oh.
A woman after my own heart.
I don't need it. I gave it to my son. I don't mind when it gets this hot. Starting to feel bad for the dog,
Is
though.
it cool around there where you live?
You know, my grandmother taught me a trick that you open all the windows at night and you
Let the cool air
let
in.
the cool air in, and then you shut them in the
Yes.
morning before
Yes.
it heats back up,
It's
and you
cool.
actually keep the cool air trapped in the house.
It's what we call
almost all day.
cave effect.
Yep, and it's
Cave.
extremely effective. And I think of my grandmother every single time I do it.
But there aren't windows in a cave.
When I lived in
Cave
Pennsylvania,
effect.
when I lived in Pennsylvania, I lived in one of those wonderful Pennsylvania Dutch field stone houses. The walls were like 3 foot thick and
Gotta be
stuff.
cooler in there.
You know, it never get hot
Very
Yeah.
good.
at all.
All right.
Yep, we are about that time. I think we have like maybe another minute, but maybe not.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Good night.
Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. We get worse every week, but nonetheless, it's the thought
I
that
didn't
counts.
think so.
And good night, Irene. Good night, everybody, from the Fun Show here at Big TV. We, with good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We'll see you next Monday night, same
Yeah, I
time,
don't-
same station.
There's no holiday next week.
Yeah, no, and I don't think there's any
Okay.
creeks rising either.
No, you know that refers to the
was-
Creek Indians, not to the body of
No,
water.
Creek
I
Indians.
did not.
Yes.
How would I know that?
Yes.
Only
And
Arch
the
would know
Russians
that.
aren't in the Olympics.
Huh?
The Russians aren't in the Olympics either.
They had that coming.
Did I miss that?
Well, I don't know. It
Did I
seems
miss
like
that?
that.
No, I
It
think
was
it's
only
in
their track
discussion.
and field team that had
No,
been.
there's more of them.
Something's going
No,
down.
there's a movement to ban the entire country, but
Okay.
I'm not sure it's
not
happening.
And I know
Yeah.
Panya Maya kept
Well, are we still on the air? I still see cameras.